Hi everyone, Jen Butcher with the Butcher team. We know shopping for a home can be fun, but it can also be tough to fit into a busy schedule. So I've got 5 steps to get you started to find your next home. Step number 1, look at your current housing situation. Are you renting? If so, do you know when your lease is up? Do you know how much notice that you have to give your landlord? Take a look at your lease and figure that out because the timing is important. Do you currently own a home? If so, do you know what it's worth? Do you know what you could sell it for and what your net proceeds would be? Or have you considered keeping it and renting it out and using it as an investment property? So look at your current situation and figure out what you need to do there. Step number 2, let's figure out your budget. So we can usually pre-approve you for more than you want to or should buy because we look at gross income numbers. So I want you to take a look at your net income, what you actually take home, subtract out all of your expenses, make sure you put a little aside for fun money and probably some into savings as well, and then look at what's left. How much of that are you willing to use towards your monthly housing payment? That's going to help us determine the purchase price that you should be looking within and yet still be within your comfort zone. Step number 3, now let's talk. Let's complete an application, take a look at credit, and figure out what programs you qualify for. I'll say this step is where most people stop because they're afraid of what that's going to look like or what's going to happen. But I can tell you whether you have a low credit score, whether you have a high credit score, whether you have no down payment at all or a significant down payment, we've got a loan program for you. So let's figure out what that is so that we can move on to the next step, which gets a little bit fun. Now I want you to make a couple lists, a wants list and a needs list. On your wants list, and it's really start by just looking at where you live now. What do you have in the space that you have now that you absolutely have to have in your next home? And what are you missing that you would really, really like to have in your next home? Take a minute to really daydream, imagine yourself in your next home, and figure out what it looks like. Do you like an open floor plan? Do you sometimes work from home and maybe need an office space? Do you have kids and want a playroom for them? Or older kids and maybe a finished basement would be nice for them? Do you like a bigger backyard or maybe a fence if you have pets? So really daydream about what that looks like in your next home and start to make a list because it helps paint a clear picture for your real estate agent who's going to be searching for those homes for you. Which leads me to step number 5. Let me introduce you to one of our realtor partners. They can take that list of yours and start to send you a search of the properties for sale in the area that you want to look in the price range that we figured out in your comfort zone with your budget. So let's say you've been out there and you've house hunted and found that perfect house for you, and now you have an accepted offer on it. Now what? Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 7 steps to take during the financing process. So step number 1 is get your papers in order. Now, more likely, with most people, we've already partially done this during the pre-approval process. We've collected some income and assets documentation so that we can put you through what we call our Finance First program, which is where we send in your income, assets, and credit to underwriting. They actually underwrite your file and give us a loan approval back. So we know anything else that they're going to ask for or any red flags or things that we need to figure out. So sometimes things happen fast and you find that house and we didn't get a chance to get that done, and that's okay. So I'm going to be sending you a list of documentation I need. Just be sure to put that all in order. Step number 2, ask before you make any big purchases, open up any new debt, or if you are going to change jobs or job positions at your current work, let's have a discussion about that first because any of those things could affect your approval status. And again, we want to make sure this process stays smooth. So let's discuss that. Step number 3, go on a date. If it's with your significant other or if it's with a friend, we try to keep this process as smooth as possible, but we get it. It can be overwhelming. For most people, it's probably the largest purchase of your life. So go out, relax, and celebrate. Because now in step number 4, you're going to have to start to work. It's time to pack. And remember, the more organized you are now, the easier it is to unpack. So label your boxes according to the room in the house that it's going to go to. Think about anything that you might really need between now and moving day or on moving day and keep those items separate. And if there is ever a time to purge, it's now. So if you don't need it, don't move it, help someone out and donate it. Step number 5, let's get prepared and think about little kids and pets. So moving day, there can be a lot of commotion going on, and it's not necessarily the best place or safest place for young kids. So if you have little kids, maybe plan on having a babysitter to watch them at least part of the day until the big stuff is moved. And if you have pets, same thing. Maybe if someone can keep an eye on them until the chaos settles down a little bit, and then you can introduce them in a more calm environment to their new home. Also, call in the recruits. If you ask me, the more the merrier on moving day. So call up your friends and invite them to the moving party. Step number 6, get in touch with your utility companies ahead of time. So call and get your gas, electric changed over to your name. And if you are setting up cable or internet, sometimes those setup appointments can be out a few days, so make sure you call and get that appointment for either moving day night or the next day so that you don't miss any of your favorite shows, or if you need to work, you're not missing any connection issues. And finally, last but not least, step number 7 is closing day. We're going to talk several times throughout the financing process, and right before closing, we're going to talk again to go over all of your final numbers. So you can show up for closing, you can be relaxed, there's not going to be any surprises, you can sign all of your documents and get handed the keys to your new home. Now we've talked about the steps to take before buying a house, what to do during the home buying process. So today I'm going to share with you the 5 steps to take after purchasing your home. Step number 1, celebrate. Congratulations, you're homeowners. Whether it's a quick lunch on your way to move in or just sitting on your new empty living room floor, make sure that you congratulate yourself and enjoy the moment. Step number 2, take advantage of an empty house. Clean up, change the locks, and if you pre-plan a little bit, it's easier to paint and replace any flooring before you have all the furniture to juggle around. So if you're looking at painting, doing anything with the flooring, plan ahead and get that done before the moving truck shows up. Step number 3 is move in and get everything set up. My tip for you, contact paper is your best friend. It works wonders in drawers and in cabinets. It helps keep things clean and fresh. So go ahead and pick some up on your way and lay it in all of the drawers and cabinets before you put everything away. Also, when you're packing that moving truck, leave the kitchen and bathroom stuff to be the first that you have in the moving truck, because those seem to be the first and easiest rooms to set up. Step number 4, take a break and go for a walk through the neighborhood. Meet your new neighbors, introduce yourselves. You never know when you're going to need a cup of sugar, or they might offer a lending hand, but it's great to meet your new neighborhood and get a feel for the area. And most importantly, build memories. People, when I talk to them, tend to remember periods of their lives by the house that they lived in at the time. So congratulations and enjoy making new memories and this new chapter in your life. And if you know any family members or friends who are looking to take that step and move soon, please let us know. The Butcher team, we're here to take care of them every step of the way. Thanks.